Am I saying it right? Spain or Span?
Spain.
Woo. That boy don't even know his people. Here we go. My assignment today is to give you an account of my maternal second great grandparents, Martha and Godfrey Whiting. Very little is known about the lives of Martha and Godfrey, and that is because, number one, no one is alive today who actually knew them personally. Number two, there is also very little hearsay information that exists. And number three, the only thing that is left for us to gather insight are the few legal documents that remain from either census records, court records, and Bureau of Vital Statistics. For this report, I relied mostly on the legal documents and very little hearsay. This is what we know. Martha Rockaway Richardson was born March 24, 1830 in Hancock, Georgia, on a plantation located about 100 miles southeast of Atlanta. Her parents were Laura Richardson, a slave, born somewhere in Florida in the year 1803. Her father, Daniel Long Richardson, was born May 24, 1793 in Liverpool, England. Martha's husband, Godfrey Whiting, was born June 29, 1824 in West Virginia. The exact place is unknown to me. Godfrey's parents, his mother, Molly Whiting Span, who was born in 1805 in Virginia. Research tells us that Sam Span was his father, who was born in South Carolina, 1788. But I think rather than his father, I think Sam was probably his stepfather. Here's why I say that. In the 1870 census, Godfrey's race was reported as white. We know that because he probably looked white. In the 1880 census, his race was listed as mulatto, which meant that he had a Caucasian father and a black mother. Since Sam Spain is listed as a black man on both of those census records, it's unlikely that he was actually Godfrey's father. In 1833, Daniel Long Richardson packed up his entire household and traveled overland in wagons the estimated 895 miles to Sabine, Texas, but his slaves walked. Now I know that at the time of this move, Martha was 3 years old, and instead of walking to Texas, probably viewed the journey from a wagon. In his book, Willie Daly recounted the many stories Martha shared with her children and grandchildren about the hardships they faced on that long journey to Texas. I do not know why Daniel decided to move to Texas. Maybe it was the promise of free land and new opportunities which drew him and so many other Anglos to the Mexican state of Coahuila, commonly known as Tejas or Texas. Daniel and his family, unfortunately, arrived in Texas at a time of turmoil and unrest. The big news of the day was the white settlers there had petitioned the Mexican government to repeal laws Mexican lawmakers enacted to keep the unruly white settlers in place. Mexican law did not allow slavery within the territory, and the white settlers opposed this law. This period of turmoil and unrest continued until it erupted into total all-out war. On March 6, 1836, Texas rebels met total destruction when approximately 186 defenders of the Alamo and San Antonio crossed swords with the Mexican army. All of Texas felt the sting of that defeat as rage rippled through the hearts and minds of the white settlers. 11 days later, on March 17, 1836, Daniel Long Richardson joined the Texas Army. 1 month later, on April 21, 1836, the Mexican army was defeated at San Jacinto. On December 19, 1836, Daniel left the Texas Army. Because of his service to Texas, he received a sizable amount of land. A couple of years after that, he purchased 4,605 acres of land situated throughout the state of Texas. Not a lot is known about our family during the period of Texas independence, those years between 1836 and 1845. According to Willie Daly, though, Martha was traveling with her father and met a slave named Godfrey Whiting. Supposedly, she asked her father to purchase him because she wanted to marry him. And apparently he did, and apparently she did. Thereafter, they apparently worked and labored on the plantation of her father until February 11th, 1849, when her father, Daniel Long Richardson, died. After his death, his property was divided. Now, I do not know if his 6 slave children went to Old Washington, but I know that Martha and Godfrey did. It was there in Texas that Martha and Godfrey were married. I do not know the date they were married, but it was sometimes in 1851. Their first child, Ella Pleasant Whiting, my great-grandmother, was born about 4 months after Martha's 22nd birthday on October 24th, 1852. Martha and Godfrey had 7 other children. The second child, John Perry, generally known as Perry, in 1856. Louisa, 1858. Marcellus, 1859. David, 1862. Laura, 1863. Lot, 1864. And Sarah, in 1866. From official court documents, we learned that on October 18th, 1872, Godfrey purchased his first piece of property. On July 22nd, 1891, he was listed as the executor on the will of his son-in-law, Alonzo Orange Wells. Orange died 7 days later. On October 27th, 1906, Martha donated a half-acre of land to the Post Oak Ridge School and the colored school community. In the conveyance, she used the following words to outline her purpose for the gift. In the deed, she wrote, and I quote, "For the purpose of carrying into effect the wishes of my deceased husband, Godfrey Whiting." In 1871, Sam Spain passed away in Washington County. Martha's mother, Laura, died in Kaufman County in 1879. Kaufman County is approximately 195 miles north of Washington County. Molly Spann, Godfrey's mother, passed in 1893 in Washington County. She was 88 years old. On March 18th, 1897, Godfrey Whiting passed away in Washington County. He was 72 years old. On September 13th, 1922, Martha died in Washington County at the ripe old age of 92 years, 5 months, and 20 days.